Tarik Skubal debut day. Woo! I'm stoked. I'm a Tigers guy, and I can't wait to see Tarik Skubal throw the pill today on the mound. So excited to see it. So jazzed. We'll talk about Ben Wilson and what he had to say about Mr. Skubal and his partner in crime, Casey Mize. Mize will debut on Wednesday, and Ben Wilson is Rotofanatic.com's expert prospects go-to guru. Whatever you want to call it, whoever you trust the most, whatever term you want to label it, Ben Wilson's your man. And don't forget, we got other stuff at Rotofanatic.com. We got our Tuesday roundtable coming out. We talk about WOBA versus ex-WOBA disparities. Who's outproducing what they really should be doing? Who will keep outproducing what their ex-WOBA says because of A, B, and C? That's why you got to read that article. Our staff got together. We all shared our thoughts, gave a few sentences here and there. Check it out. And don't forget Paul Mamino. This is Paul Mamino. That's my guy right there. There he is. I love Paul Mamino. He's a good sport, and he's a fantastic writer and analyst. His GPS report is out because it's Tuesday, and every Tuesday you can count on Paul Mamino's GPS report coming out, telling you about pitchers he likes, pitchers that may be overperforming, all based on his top-notch personal pitching models. I'll also give you some insanely idiotic things because that's what I do. That's just how I am. What can I tell you? And then we'll look at some players who dominated. Look at this. Pete Alonso. Woo! Yeah. He loves him some taters. And so does Fernando Tatis. And even Zach Gallen said, wait, whoa. That's enough taters for everybody. Too many potato. How about some solid pitching you can count on every fifth day? I love Zach Gallen. So reliable. We'll talk about him. We'll talk about everything going on Monday night and everything you need to know for Tuesday on Rotofanatic.com's Quality Start.
Sometimes there's a man, I won't say a hero, because what's a hero? But sometimes there's a man, and I'm talking about the dude here. Sometimes there's a man, well, he's the man for his time and place.
Sure, sometimes there's a man, but sometimes there's two men that come from the same family. That's right. Last night, the Seager brothers got in on some fun, and they deserve to be recognized for that fun. The first time Corey and Kyle ever... That's not social distancing, by the way. I guess it doesn't count when you're family. Anyways, first time ever these two brothers faced off in a game. And guess what Corey Seager did? Whee! Long drive, deep right center field. This ball is back, and this ball is gone. Home run for Corey Seager. Look at Kyle. Kyle's like, got to give it up to little bro, but the competitor in him's not feeling it. But don't worry, Kyle would seek his revenge.
Here is Kyle Seager. Seager going right back, same territory. Next pitch, Bellinger gone, back-to-back smashes. All right, Seager versus Seager.
It was a fun night in Chavez Ravine for the Seager brothers. But there was a lot of guys last night who did something of the same nature, and it certainly is worthy of our attention.
Utah, give me two.
Gary Busey asks, and we shall deliver. We ask no questions here. As you recall, we showed you Tatis and Alonso hitting home runs at the top of the show, but they also hit 2 home runs apiece last night, joining a surprising array of players last evening.
Utah, give me two.
Alonso's teammate, Cano, Robinson Cano, crushed 2 more home runs down in Miami last night. And since coming off the IL on Friday, he looks like the player he was before he went on the IL.
Utah, give me two.
Probably not surprising to many people, but Nelson Cruz, oh my God, did you see the bat speed on that swing? It's incredible. This guy's 40 years old. He hit 2 home runs last night, one off Chris Bubich, the rookie, getting a harsh lesson in what it's like to have old man strength.
Utah, give me two.
And lastly, Luke Voigt of the New York Yankees crushed a ball to dead center field for a home run, and then he decided to hit a home run to left field by swinging the baseball bat like this. What an underrated first baseman Luke Voigt is. These are your batted ball event qualifiers for barrels per plate appearance percentage, and Luke Voigt checks in at number 4, way ahead of some guys like Anthony Rizzo and Josh Bell, who are down in the 20s. He is an undervalued first baseman, and if you knew that coming into the season, you're very happy right now.
He left us. He left us.
But that's not what I'm gonna do.
He left us. He left us. I enjoy this segment because it's funny, and who left who on base is important. The correlation with batting average, with runners in scoring position, and clutch hitting is real. So we need to take a look at players that we count on to be elite or average or below average, but somehow come up in clutch situations. Who are these players? Because the people that perform well with runners on base are going to be the guys that give you the most production consistently. That's why it matters. It's not just some silly stat to be like, oh, look what you did. You screwed your teammate over again. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to show you who's clutch and who isn't. And that's why on Tuesdays he left us. We'll take a look at these players who left their teammates in the lurch once again.
Well, I have seen it all, folks. Look at that. Johan Camargo, 8 left on base. That is a new one-day high so far this season based on my record keeping. Very impressive, Johan Camargo. Also, the rookie Luis Garcia hit his first Major League home run for the Nationals, but he also left 5 men on base. A lot of growing up to do, but still a lot of potential, too.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Why? Why the hell does Gabe Kapler keep pushing out Trevor Gott? It's inhumane, man. He put him out there last night, and of course, he gives up a walk-off home run. What are you expecting, Gabe Kapler? Just give the man a rest. Jeez. Daniel Hudson has 2 blown saves, 5 for 7 total in his save opportunities, but both blown saves, he's given up 7 earned runs, so they've been big blow-ups. Kenley Jansen has been lights out, 7 for 7. Andrew Miller has taken the closer job in the rejuvenation of the Cardinals season. 2 attempts, 2 saves, looking good early. But I will say Giovanni Gallegos has followed him, getting holds in those saves, and has looked really good. He's got a nice K rate, much better than Miller's. So keep an eye on that. You never know when things will change.
It's Tarik Skubal debut day. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited. I love seeing this guy pitch. He's got a killer slider, nasty fastball. He loves hitting 100 miles per hour. He had a little showdown back in spring, summer camp, whatever the hell you want to call it, with his own teammate, Casey Mize, who will debut on Wednesday, by the way, for the Tigers, where they were going back and forth on Instagram about who could throw the ball harder. So they're focusing, they're practicing. That shows me determination to be the best. They're not doing it during like a pregame warm-up. They're doing it during the downtime where not many people are looking. That's what character is, you know, the things you do when no one's paying attention. So Tarik Skubal will hit the mound on Tuesday. I'm really curious to see how it goes. Will he even get to 4 innings? I expect something like real brief, but it's like, oh, hey, he made his debut, right? So I don't have high expectations, but anytime a big-time stud prospect pitcher makes their debut, it's usually must-see TV for me. I remember when Steven Strasburg got called up in 2010. I was right there glued to the television, and boy, did he deliver. He had a legendary night for an opening day stud prospect pitcher. So let's hear from Ben Wilson once again, who talked about Mr. Skubal, what to expect, and, of course, Casey Mize, what you can expect Wednesday in his debut against the White Sox.
In Tarik Skubal, you have a high-octane lefty who really soared with a dominant 2019. Skubal is an athletic pitcher who can bring the fastball up to the high 90s. He even hit 100 during an off-season workout. You'll also see a swing-and-miss curveball, slider, and changeup. Skubal's a great talent, and some evaluators have him above Casey Mize and Matt Manning. You'll see Skubal on Tuesday night in his debut. Casey Mize was the first overall pick in the 2018 draft. His start on Wednesday will be heavily anticipated. With Mize, you get a deep arsenal with dominant secondaries with the slider and splitter. If he shakes some health questions, Mize will be a valuable starter for the long haul, who could be a number 1 or more likely a high-end number 2 starting pitcher type of ceiling. No matter how you slice it, the Tigers have a group of young pitchers that can all in their own way become difference makers towards the top of the rotation.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Hey, now it's time for some insanely idiotic things. Insanely idiotic thing number 1.
Trevor Bauer is the number 1 starting pitcher in fantasy baseball as of today at this moment. In expected ERA, he is second among all qualified pitchers, 1.12. So it's not just the surface stats. The expected stats are saying, hey, this guy's really, really good.
Insanely idiotic thing number 2.
Brandon Nimmo is one of the most underrated outfielders in all of fantasy baseball. This guy gets on base a lot. And in points leagues and OBP leagues, you know that. But in regular roto leagues, he gets dinged for his average. But that's a bunch of malarkey because he gets on base so much that all the other production adds up. This Nimmo shaming needs to end now.
Insanely idiotic thing number 3.
Jurickson Profar will outperform Eduardo Escobar, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., and Scott Kingery by season's end. He'll have more fantasy production, and he'll just be a more valuable asset by the end of this fantasy season. I'm telling you. He's changed his profile. He also has a much higher expected average than his current 200 batting average. This is a great lineup, too, and I see exciting things for Profar, finally starting to realize that potential in 2020.
And now it's time for This Day in Fantasy History. I love This Day in Fantasy History. You know that by now if you watch this show. And I'm so pleased with the White Sox hitting 4 home runs on Sunday because we showed that last Friday on this very show right here. They did the same thing 12 years ago and 2 days prior. It was amazing to see it again by the same team at the same field. You just don't see that very often. It's super unique. So I'm really excited to see what happens on this day and what will unfold down the road. Maybe something cool will happen just like it happened on this day, August 18th. Manny Machado did something special only a couple of years ago that we'll show you. And Ken Caminiti gets a little love on this show. Rest in power, Mr. Caminiti. We do miss you. We're going to take it back to 1996 to see what Ken Caminiti did in his MVP season for somebody's fantasy baseball team. Diddle-oo, 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 diddle-oo.
On this date, August 18th, Manny Machado hit 3 home runs. 2017, just 3 years ago, he had a walk-off grand slam, too. This was a monster fantasy day. And we all remember the time when Machado was a dominant fantasy player because he gets to play in Camden Yards. That's no longer the case, but he's still a solid player. August 18th, 1996. This game took place in Mexico. It was a regular season game between the Mets and the Padres. Ken Caminiti won the MVP that year, and he had 2 home runs in this game and 4 RBI, even though he woke up not feeling well. We found out later that Caminiti was using roids, so we'll always look back at him as a cautionary tale. But he did provide some great production in 96, and he deserves credit for that. And lastly, on this date in 2006, Alfonso Soriano became the 3rd player in big league history to compile 4 30-30 seasons, with his second inning stolen base and a 6-4 victory over the Phillies. He joined Bobby and Barry Bonds as the only other people to do it a 4th time.